Hey, welcome back to our 3D Code Academy. If you have mastered the skin hair texturing, it's time to move to the most important detail of any character, the eyes. In this tutorial, we are building a full procedural eye texturing in a Blender. No image maps, no shortcuts, pure node logic. By the end of this video, your characters will not just look good, they will feel alive. So let's get started. Okay, let's open the Blender. As you can see, this is where we left off in the previous lesson. Now, our next task is to build the eyes. So for now, let's hide our model and focus carefully creating the procedural eyes from the scratch. So I'll press Shift A to add a sphere. Okay. Let's hide this plane. We can see the structure of the eye, the anatomy of an eye. Let's look for the next eye anatomy. So let's see how it looks. Let's find the image of. So you can see for this photo, eye is being like a spherical, but on the top is got bulge. We have a transparent glass on the top, and the inner part we have the lens with the iris, and the front we got a pupil. So we need to create this one, and the outer part we call this cornea for the bulge part. So let's create this one. Okay, by adding a sphere, we need to have two spheres. The outer one is the one that have a glass and transparent material. So I go to the edit mode there, and I press RX to 19, like this one. And can add another. I can duplicate this one, Shift D, and release it. The one I can call the inner eye, and the outside one we call the outer eye. So the outer eye could be a glass material, transparent one. And the inner eye, it will be the eye with the iris there. So we come to this for the inner eye, which we start with the inner eye to create the inner eye. So I'll come here and I'll select this part here. So I select the faces, so I proceed to the selection, this one. And I can turn on the proportional editing. And I try to move this. For the inner, we need to patch inside. And make sure that the outer eye is switched off so you can see the inside of this one. With the proportional editing, okay, we do something of this kind. I'll press C and I select this inner part there, and we start to create the materials. So I'll select the new material there. I can call inner eye. So I will start by adding the gradient texture, and I plug to the surface, and we'll make sure that the gradient texture, we need to change this to a spherical. So in order to make this shadow to be at the center of this, we need to map it. And we must make sure that we have a preference node add-ons called the node regular is turned on, so that we can allow the mappings. So when I press Ctrl T, we allow to get the mapping system, or the shortcut of mapping the system. After doing this one, we need to change this from the vector from generated to object. So you can see now that we have the white iris. So we need to change that one to black. So we can add a color ramp. So we can see this. We need to make sure that it's very black and very white. So we see like this one. So in order to invert this one, I'll press this one and try to create this one. So you see that we have a black pupil there. That's good. And if I want to add the pupil with the different layers of colors, I might come here and add another one. Maybe I can say we need an orange there. And I try to change this one, to tighten this. Okay, you see that we have created an eye pupil with the orange and a black, a deep black, this one. So we can shade smooth also. It's not bad. And then this is for the one thing there. So we need to add some veins inside the eye there. So what we're gonna do there, we're gonna add a gradient texture again, this one, and I press Control Shift to see through. You see this, we have the same black thing there, and instead of linear, I'll change to the radial. Sorry, you see we're gonna have a linear like this one. We need to Control T to add the mapping system, and there we use it on object there, and we change the point to the normals. So we need to transfer the normals. And for this one here, what I will do, I will add a noise texture. You see, that is our noise. So we need to change this scale to a large number, maybe this one, and this is normal. For the linear, we need to do a radio. You see, we got a radio there, and we need to change this we need to change these UVs to the vector, from object to UVs. So we are not select the object here, the whole object. We selected the inner part of the UV there. So after doing this, we can try to add a difference scale, and for changing these colors, we need to add a color ramp, so we can have the black and white the colors. So I can make this very contrast like this one. So I can minimize the nodes tree and try to have a green node tree system, So we need to add the first one, iris, and this veins. So we need to add with a mix shader, not mix this one, and we need to add this mix there. So instead of float, we need to make this as a color, and we change this from this one. We're gonna add to this the down one, and then we output to this surface. And this node here, we need to add the how to do the operation. Now we are going to use overlay mixing, from the mixing chain to overlay, with overlay. This one, you see those details is on the inner part of that one. So with the use of factor, you can increase how much details you want. So you see the right side is on now for this lower node tree. So that's enough for the inner part. So you can, whenever you might use even the, we're gonna add another maybe texture for this part there, and I press Shift A and add a gradient texture, something of this one. And for this one, I can use a spherical, and I press Ctrl T, and I can press Ctrl T to add the node system. So I might select this one there, or this. I might use the generated ones. I think that's good enough. I can make where I want to control this. I want like something of this, and I want to pull down there, and I press Shift A to add the color ramp. And for this ramp, I want the white to be white, and for the black, I want to change the black to be something reddish. Something like that. And how to add this one? I need to make sure that I add another mix. Shift A, something of this, and I change to the color. So I might use that, add to this one, and this one I can add to this one, and I will add it to the surface. So in order to control this, we can say this is overlay, not overlay, we say multiply. And I can add something like this. So you see, this is how I create my eye, procedural eye. And now this is for the inner part of the eye. So if you need to make a tighten, you can do something of this. You can adjust it later for your liking. And now it's enough for the inner part of the eye. Okay, now let's go to the outer part of the eye. Okay, let's allow the outer part of the eye. So I press first by Shift smoothing, and I select this one, and I'll come here and select this, the cornea part. We want to create the cornea part. So see, and I select this one, and we'll go to the proportional editing, and I can try to move this. Okay, something of this. And in order to see through to the inside part of the eye, we need to make this outer eye. We need to make this outer eye to have a material, transparent material. So I'll start by adding the notes tree there, and I will delete this one. And we can rename this as a outer eye material. So we need to have a transparent material. Shift A, add a transparent BSDF. You can see that whenever we can plug it, you see the transparency. Okay, in order to have a glass material to see the inside part of this one, I press Shift A and add a glass BSDF, glass material. So we need to mix these them to see the full glass and to see the transparency. So I press Shift A to add a mix shader. Not this one. This mix shader, and I plug it into this, and I can have a glass. So we need to change this to the views from. So you see that we already created an eye. You see? Now you can control a factor, how much you like the transparency, how much you like the glass to be, by checking the middle of that. Be nice. Okay, now that we have successfully created our procedural eye, it's time to place into the model. This step is very important because the proper eye placement determines whether your character looks natural and believable. So let's go and hide and try to position our eye inside the eye socket. So let's go to the material and try to position it to the eye socket. And make sure that you align nicely. Press 1 again. Press double R to try to find the position it, and I can press the R, try to rotate a bit there. See how it's look. Does it look natural? So I need to double R to rotate to this. Let's go to the material. This. Okay, I will select this and try to push. Okay, we'll try to see to the different angles. Okay, I'll try to move this, and I can scale it again. Some around there. I think that's good. So after doing that, for this eye collection, we need to have another eye, part of eye, the left one. So I can duplicate this one by Shift D, and I press X along G along X. Not this. Let's press this G along X, like this. So you can see that we have both eyes. So You see that we successfully. Okay, you see that we have accomplished it to create the procedural eyes and the placement for the eyes. So in next tutorial, I'll teach you how to create hair, eyebrows, and the eyelashes. Till next time, don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel 3D Code Academy. Give a like and comment. See you next. Ciao.